I wanted to kind of dig deeper into the idea here for the platform and talk a little bit about revenues, sustainability, adding value to the coin, etc. If we're going to be rewarding people with crypto coins for every kilowatt hour that they produce, how is value going to be added into the system? So there's three mechanisms to start. And the first mechanism is our secondary marketplace, where we're going to allow people to post listings as products that will be available for purchase from other people that enter into the platform at a one-to-one rate, meaning what's the retail rate of your local utility, what's the net metering policy in your area, and then if there's a difference between the retail rate and your net metering policy, that amount will be calculated per kilowatt hour over, a span of time. And when people purchase these, the specific amount would go to the individual that created the listing. So then those funds go to that individual. On top of the listing, there will be a value for a matching number of crypto. So if it was $70 for that period of time, they would get 70 crypto coins, and then a transaction fee on top of that to gain access to the platform. So that's the little bit that will go to the platform directly. So that's one revenue stream coming in. So you're purchasing listings, crypto, and paying a transaction fee for the build out, adding value to the platform. So that's the first way. The second way is when we start to get installers, which are the entities that procure equipment for solar, wind, and batteries, install it, get the permits for it, HOA approvals, interact with the utility, and get the utility to switch it on. So these installer groups have created teams that act as an umbrella that fulfill the entire process under one corporation or installer group. The platform itself will have the ability to build proposals per installer in that area and allow a person to shop on our platform for a system. So we'd be plugged in with financiers and installers, meaning that the platform would act as an owner dealer that has salespeople underneath it. Technically, we can negotiate with installers and financiers across the board to lower the cost because we're eliminating a process and the best process is no process, and the best part is no part. So these are kind of manifestations of abundance in real time. The way that the revenue piece would work, bringing value into the platform, is if the platform is acting as an owner dealer and the sales people, then the platform can absorb a much smaller amount than the owner dealers do, lowering the price for individuals to purchase from, and then still allowing a commission piece to exist that would either be absorbed by the platform completely if a person comes to the platform without being referred, or split with the referrer if someone from our platform brings somebody else on through their link. So that person would receive 50% and the platform would receive 50%. So similar to the way it works, but we're absorbing that process, lowering the cost, and still benefiting from it. And the third way is actually the platform itself becoming a partner with local entities or national entities where a need for solar, wind, and battery build out in that area is brought to our attention. We'll have a whole process where the participants can vote and allocate money to each of these global projects that are listed on our platform. There will be revenue agreements with each entity that would bring in revenue to the platform from the sale of electricity in that jurisdiction or wherever that project was installed. So not only to the point where you break even on that project, but you break even on that project, all of its maintenance, and the next project and all of its maintenance. And then we step down how much revenue we're taking after that allotted amount has been accounted for. So it's in that final piece where we're stepping down the revenue, that amount of revenue adds value to the platform. So we're perpetuating and adding value to the platform. So this is very important, so that we're covering the next 100 years with this initial platform to perpetuate. And the guess is in the next 100 years that it will be abundant and free anyway. If that threshold is reached before the completion of the build out of solar, wind, and batteries, then we'll dissolve the platform. Back to revenue, there could be many other ways where we could generate revenue, but those are the three main ones. And we want to be able to get all three of these working very quickly. So in the beginning, the solar, wind, and battery projects will be those that can be installed within, a 1 to 2 month time frame, and then we'd be receiving revenues critically in the beginning, which is important because then there'll be a steady increase of value over time of the coin. And we can even do for individuals, that's important. So if someone wants solar and they can't afford it, and it's allowable in their area, they can create a listing and we can vote to see whether or not we'll pay for that system. So that's how it's going to start in the beginning, because these grid scale mega projects, the earliest we can get one installed now is Q3 2024. And that's because the ramp is just starting now for grid scale batteries. So once, I bet in 2024, it'll probably be 6 to 8 months out. And then late 2024, it'll probably be 3 to 6 months out. And then, at that 3 to 6 months from there, it'll probably be 1 to 2 months out. So that time frame of installation is going to get, shorter and shorter, but it's longer now because there's lots of demand and the ramp is just starting. So we have to be strategic about that to be able to bring in revenue now. We can work with homes and businesses, and then later grid scale projects for countries and towns and industrial complexes and stuff. So the benefit of us purchasing systems for individuals is we avoid the financing costs. So we save 30 to 40% automatically when we don't have to finance. And then we receive revenues from that individual. So they would be paying us at the value of the cash deal, not a financing